Or on,
What year did
with
you
the rights
graduate
we
from?
graduated to my
74?
class reunions, it was the, oh, we
I
didn't
was
know
so
how to find you.
disappointed.
They told me that, and they
Right
never
from the
moved
beginning.
for 50 years, they never moved, and they couldn't find me.
You didn't look, I think you weren't looking.
They mailed.
I was asked to get my, I have my mother's
They
yearbook.
didn't live there anymore. They couldn't find me, it was on the
Oh,
lost
wow.
list.
You know what she was
I
awarded?
don't care if I'm found in.
Person who did the most for Coventry.
It
High
is.
School.
Are we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Oh, we're on, it's
She ran the yearbook. She did all of that. I was surprised. I was very proud of
We're
her.
on.
You're live.
Oh, we're live. Okay.
Call to order, roll call,
Maureen Buffy.
Aaron Verser, Colleen Martins,
Alex Berardo for staff.
Nick Longo.
Paul St. Armand.
Norma Smith. Did everybody get a chance to read the minutes?
Yes.
So the minutes for April 4th, can we have a motion to approve? I'll make a motion.
A second.
All in favor? Opposed?
I abstained because I wasn't here.
Okay. Okay, and can they have the minutes for May 2nd? Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for May 2nd?
I'll make a motion.
Second,
I wasn't here, so.
Thank you.
second. All in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Okay.
So we're
Karen,
all-
are you abstaining for that one too?
I am.
Okay.
Do we have to say that a lot? I guess-
Yeah, why not, for the
Good
record.
idea.
Okay, we'll begin with an update for the CLG grant.
And I will also just, sorry, before we move on. Knock on wood, I will profess that I'll remember for this coming month to put in the January ones too. Which January is the one where I didn't realize until last
Oh.
month that we actually had a draft this whole time. Because it was in the shuffle of different minute takers.
Right,
So hopefully by next month, we'll be fully caught back up to the present.
okay, very good, thank you. Okay, Erin,
So I think it's attached, I don't have the title stuff that everyone has, but there should be the progress report that has to get submitted for the first 3 months of the year of progress. You have one.
you wanna look at it?
I should have printed mine. Okay, so you're right. I don't know if any of you looked through it.
Sorry.
I want to make sure that what it says is accurate, and then I can put it into the system. We also have the next 3 months due, I think it's the 19th of July, I have to submit, 19th of June. Before we get into the next progress report, I want to make sure that this aligns with what we all understand is the progress for the first 3 months, so. It only covers up to the 1st of March, that's what she told me, it ends at, minimal progress occurred during this reporting period. Much of the effort applied during this time was getting through the signature process to accept the grant. There was some confusion about who should sign the acceptance letter. It's also a desire to change the method of consultation, consultant solicitation from RFP to master price agreement, which required a few rounds back and forth between the town and, the state. And then in the proceeding, how is the schedule proceeding? I say that because we accepted the grant late, was not aligned to the original schedule submitted. We came to an agreement of the new schedule, which is below, and we are currently on track because we did accept the award before March 30th. And that would be it, I think. There are no changes to scope or budget, and delayed acceptance of award led to the revised schedule, and that would be it.
For what it's worth, I thought that was the right level of detail. I thought that got everything across in a, yeah, it was just pacing was right, at least in my opinion, like that was,
Yep, succinct
Yeah.
to the point. They want more details, they can contact.
yeah, they know how to reach us.
Exactly.
So I suspect we're gonna come up with someone has to sign that
I believe.
on the back.
And I think it's me, it's the semantic question, but the way that I understand, whatever name you slap on it, the town manager is the one who's for the town, for our side of this program, like the official, this is where the ultimate responsibility rests in terms of like who for the interim stuff, signs off on just overseeing it. I think I would be basically what counts as a supervisor. I think I'm the one who signs it. So I would say, especially since this is the first one, we've probably got wiggle room to, I think it's a safe bet that I'm the one who signs it. Why don't I be the one to sign it? And then if they've got a,
Yeah,
You know.
sorry to interrupt you.
just to say, if they get a question, they would let us know. Again, they know how to reach us.
During the application process, wasn't there a hierarchy named in there?
That was for the grant agreement, they wanted the person in the town who had like the top responsibility, and that was Dan, the town manager.
So there was
They didn't
no hours, staff hours or anything calculated for the budget or anything?
I'm pretty
No.
sure we,
No?
There's none of that in there.
Because that would tie to the, like a supervisor, how many hours was the person?
and he
gonna
wasn't
put in?
named, yeah, and he wasn't, I know his title was like authorized representative, I think.
Mhm.
It was authorized something, I think authorized rep. So that would be, this would be assuming that it's not the authorized rep, but a supervisor for it. Again, I'm pretty sure that that's basically what I would count as.
Mhm.
So is this what you have to do next before you sign the agreement with?
No, I have to
No?
submit a quarterly report every
Okay.
quarter of our progress.
So this is just part of, this
Yep.
will eventually be a regular feature, even after,
It's like an update on what's going on.
yeah. After the ball gets rolling, we've got the consultant engaged. And that, I guess first, we can focus on this first. Does anybody else have any thoughts on it?
Did you say that you need input from us?
If you think it's good, and we can get it, whenever you get approval to sign, scan me a copy and I'll load it into eCivis.
Yeah.
I'm good with it. I wouldn't want to stand in your way of the
No.
timeframe or anything, so.
And then we're gonna submit the second quarter, which will cover, March, April, and May. So I really do think it is due on the 16th, of June. I don't
Okay.
know what we're gonna say for progress, because now we are behind.
We've got, the other thing that what I was going to say under this is that I have the language for the solicitation, thanks to the fact that you guys put it together. It's basically like 85, 90% there. This, as I was telling some of the people who were here ahead of time, this was the busiest month that I've seen so far. And I'm coming up on 1 year here, but, yeah, it was a weird month. It was a couple of people woke up from their slumber for like a year or more and said, my project is reactivated, I need it now. So I had been planning to be able to say before you tonight that I had sent it out, but language is basically there, I just haven't actually sent out the emails. That I imagine, unless the period says that we're not supposed to mention, what we did to the present, then maybe we wouldn't say it in the next
Mhm.
report. But like in reality, that would be the main movement, I guess we would say,
Okay,
for the next
so
report.
just for clarity for everyone, we were supposed to have sent the request out on the 30th of April. Have picked someone by the 30th of May and have submitted our person who we were going to select to the state. So we're behind by 2 milestones. Just so that, I don't think we can modify the schedule again.
Mhm. So
We
we
gotta
just,
catch up.
we would acknowledge that, but also, we can probably also point out. This was written first we see as well how the MPA process goes, assuming that it does go smoothly in the sense that we get people who submit qualified bids back. That may, because the idea was why the town wanted to go with it, is that start to finish, it tends to be a shorter process. That may end up being something we point to in the end. It's just like, we were behind by this time, however, because we went with the quicker process, we caught back up to where we were, and it's like, whatever, 3 weeks behind or 1 month. If there's an opportunity to do that accounting, we could say it, otherwise we just save it for whatever the next report is.
So what's the process to kick in with the state and say, send us the list of vendors?
We've got the list of vendors
Oh, we do?
on the website online, yeah, it's just a matter, it's, like I said, this was it was a busy month where I assumed by now I would have sent it out.
So you send out a form letter to
Yeah.
a representative sampling of, how many were on there? I remember you
It's-
mentioned it before.
Yeah, we had,
20 or
there's different categories have different things for the people who are qualified to do, oh yeah, it's because it's on the other sheet. it's that regulation, I know number 36 is in it, but the qualification to do historic work. There are
Shouldn't that be
6,
something that we all see though, to like,
yeah,
to
it's,
review it?
well, it's pretty much the language that you guys, the two of you put together
Yeah,
for the.
oh, I mean,
RFP.
the vendor list, though.
Yeah, I could email you the link to it. There were 6 on that show up on the state list, and when you go through that list, there are, I think, I'm pretty sure it was 3, might have been 4. That like that said on their website, they've done projects
Yeah.
like this.
And on the state website where those vendors are listed, does it also have links to, reports on how successful they were, or, input from the municipalities that use them? These guys were great. These guys I wouldn't use
I
again.
don't remember seeing reviews for them.
Mhm.
I recognize some of the names, so to that, I guess. Yeah, I don't remember seeing testimonials on there, but I know from just hearing their names before and reading in some cases, like one of them I remember did a project for Cranston.
Mhm.
So
So they each have websites?
they have websites,
So
yeah.
I'm sure there's some kind of
It's
Yeah,
kind of like
there should be
second,
sales pitch.
images or something on there for, you can go look and see who they.
to some extent, what they reply with is gonna be, I would imagine, a lot of what you could find on their website, but they may name examples.
And like you said, the municipalities or other governments that they work for and stuff. So.
Yeah, some of that may come as a result then.
So if you were to guess, when do you think you're gonna send
It's-
out the MPA?
It's something I want to do like in the next couple of days, because I don't know when the next wave of, people
Mhm.
awakening from their slumber comes, so. It's definitely a strike while the iron's hot deal.
Yeah.
So,
So if I write this up for the next quarterly report saying we're behind schedule, MPA is expected to go out.
well, yeah, I guess
12 or
maybe what you
whatever.
do is you could say we drafted the language for the solicitation during that period, because we did do that.
Mhm.
So it's not as if, and I think you would know too, it's not as if we sat on our hands and did absolutely nothing. So I guess, you gotta frame it in whatever way is most advantageous. So maybe we just point it that way. We develop the language. And again, if they really are strict that they don't want to know about anything that happened after June 1st,
Mhm.
we leave it at that. Otherwise, we could give a comment that just says, and it just went out, or something like that.
Okay, so I'll write up the next quarterly report and bring it. I'll have it for the next meeting, and I'll review the words and then submit that one.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aaron.
Okay. Okay, yes. Cemetery update. One of the reasons I left cemeteries on the agenda is that Maureen called me about a concern for a cemetery that is being developed by a contractor or developer. And apparently they have just plowed the cemetery down. And it's, so the point is, if this is, isn't there some sort of statement about cemetery protection?
Yeah, they mark
Very-
them on the plans.
There's very,
And-
yeah.
So you're gonna speak about that,
Stated,
so-
very specific state law.
But even at the town level, because when we were trying to get historic preservation zoning laws, they said, oh, no, we already have that in place.
What project is this? Well, I mean, maybe that, if you'd like to just share, maybe we can throw it in.
The chairperson of the state Historic Cemetery Commission contacted me she forwarded, a copy of an email that she got from a Coventry resident, who had pictures of, gravestones that were down. And he said that, trying to think of what his wording was, but something to the effect of, we've watched our developer continue to knock this cemetery down. It's a very small cemetery, 4 burials. And he's had pictures of the stones lying down on the ground. So, at that point, the state Cemetery Commission Chair contacted Rhode Island Historic Preservation and Heritage Commission and informed them as to what was going on. But I didn't get an update from her on what the latest was with that.
What, yeah, which,
Big Water Road,
do you happen to know like the number of the cemetery or?
169. Silas Haven's lot.
That would be something that.
So it did not have a sign, but I know that it had surveyor's tape marking it off. When they were
Big
first,
Water Road,
I think it's road.
Big Water
Ye-
Road.
Yeah, it's off of
Water
Phillips Hill.
estate.
It's off of Phillips
Phillips
Hill.
Hill?
Yeah.
And
Big River,
What did I call
Big
it?
River.
What
Big
did I call
Big
it? Big
River.
water.
You said Big Water.
Big
Big
River.
water. It's Big River. I don't know. I'm sorry.
Water river.
Water, river, ocean.
It's all the
lake, I
same
don't know.
family.
No, it's
Oh,
definitely
okay.
river.
About the one
It's
near the high
definitely
school.
river.
All right, yeah,
No, it's
okay.
definitely river.
That's something that planning would have been flagged when they were doing the
So
paperwork.
this
right?
is my concern, what I've tried to address this a number of times and I don't know if anybody's heard me, but nobody has acknowledged me that I found that it looks like only 60% of the town cemeteries are represented on the tax assessor's map.
Do you know the
Only
street address?
60%.
Phillips Hill Road, it's,
Yeah, I don't know. It's all reconfigured since I knew
it
where
has
that
its own, it has
cemetery
its
was.
own street.
Yeah, and
That's
it's
a
try to
good
go
street.
through.
It's
cemetery.
Big River.
It's Big River.
So is plot 169 not on the tax surveyor map?
I don't think so.
It's on the cemetery map, so.
But if they've
It's
got-
on the cemetery, it's on the, there's GPS was
Yeah.
taken for it, so there's a Google map with the pinpoint on there.
It's,
There you go.
69, so just.
Yeah, 169.
Close.
it's at the Hartney Hill end of
Silas Haven's lot.
Phillips Hill Road, but it has its own name now. Because it's quite a few houses, well, not tons, but maybe 6 or 7 lots in there.
11-3 Big River Road. I
Big
don't know.
River
if
Road,
that's-
yeah, there it is,
So-
Big River Road. It's, because it's near the Big River
See if this works.
State Properties.
Yep.
Tiny house.
This may not give us, I don't want to make too much of a diversion. I don't know if this is gonna give us what we need, but just figured why not while we're talking about it. If we could get a
There's
visual.
Quite a bit built already.
Yeah, there's 4 lots
Yeah.
were sold.
So when I drove up there, I had no bearings whatsoever where it
Mhm.
wound up.
I see, yeah, it's right in the middle of that one, isn't it?
We keep toggling back and forth to try to see if this is it.
So
Yeah, this is in the
The way this
ballpark.
person made it sound was that whoever did this was aware that it was there. But like I said, I have not heard a follow-up as to what the Historic Preservation Commission found when they contacted.
Did you say you went up there and you
individual.
couldn't actually locate the cemetery?
I've been up there before this
Association, what?
happened, and since they put this road and they changed it, because it was originally, there was a single house up there on a long driveway,
This,
and I knew where that was, but then everything is all reconfigured and changed, and I didn't know I couldn't find it.
all I can say is that this is not one that I would have reviewed. This doesn't look familiar to me. I guess, I don't know if this is like in the regime before or whatever.
Could very
If
well
it
be.
slipped through, that it's odd because I mean, it's a checklist item on, and there's another project where, I mean, even just to give them an easement, like I held up the review just so that we would get the easement to access the cemetery. But we do say like, take note if you've got any.
Isn't there
So-
laws broken when that happens and fines ensue?
I'm not as familiar with that, or whether that's a state thing.
Maureen knows about that.
Yeah, so if
Okay.
you went back to that, I know you didn't want to get into a huge diversion on this, but if you went back to the site that you were just on, the Rhode Island Historical Cemeteries, and went back to the main menu up at the top, I think it's either FAQs and documents or links. Yeah,
Rules and regs?
no,
No?
no, the handbook.
Oh, okay.
Back where you were. Yeah.
But
Yeah. And then you, and that's the, table of contents for the state regulations,
Penalty for violation.
Yeah, so, okay, so it's like state law, but it's spelled out, you're saying.
And
so
what
in
is
all
the-
fairness, I don't know,
23-9.
what that investigation revealed. I don't know if this person knowingly did that. The wording
There's
of
like
the complaint was kind of awkward, was they continued, I watched them continue to demolish it, so I don't really know exactly.
Like, it was
what that means.
obvious, it was graves, they were like,
I
and they
guess-
kept
That's
going
the
kind of situation.
that's the impression that this person in their email gave. But I don't know what the investigation is actually gonna find out.
We'll have to
So-
listen, yeah, if you don't mind giving us the update then,
Yeah.
when you do here.
Yeah,
And because the town's on a trend for development right now, I mean, we've gone through this before, develop, then it dies off. Develop, dies off. We wouldn't want to see it happen in the future.
It's, yeah, I mean, like I say,
If you
what,
can-
at least when I'm the one who reviews,
yeah.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, well,
that's-
we had a lot of,
Yeah,
but
The
the
other
point
thing-
is, we just, because we did try to do a historic cemetery ordinance, and they said, oh, well, you don't have to, it's already taken care of in the process,
Mhm.
so just
There-
want to be sure.
There is another one that the owner of the property notified the state chairperson that he was just gonna be doing work in that area, but I also know that this area was sold, and I don't know if there's plans for developing around there. So it would be the similar situation. Except that he's aware of it, and he knows, and he was taking the proper procedure to notify the state that he was gonna be working there.
mhm. We have, I think it's. Well, I wonder if I'm getting myself confused with what Cranston used to have, but I'm pretty sure it's like if you're within 25 feet of a historic cemetery, you're supposed to get council approval.
That's
Or is that-
that is the state, yeah, that's the state recommendation, and
Okay.
then you have to meet a couple
Yeah,
of
so-
conditions.
11.1.
I haven't seen, so I guess that's probably, I must have seen it, but maybe I saw it back in Cranston, because I haven't. I have seen examples where people will, like, there will be a large lot, but the cemetery is like all the way off in a corner and they're developing on another
Which is
side. And you know what I mean? It's not like more than 25 feet away. So I don't remember here having written a memo yet that says like, and they will need to go to the town council. But that would be, you know, that would be what you do, I guess, in a situation like that. Otherwise, you flag it and just say, you know, there is a cemetery on the property, but it's outside of the limit of disturbance or whatever
Right,
else.
right.
You
But
know,
one more thought on that I was just gonna say on that is that, when an area is developed like that, I know a previous planner had told me that, sorry, that they try to work in, some type of, access or right of way.
Yep.
So that would be a question. I don't know what the case was with this one. I don't know if, but if you weren't
Yeah.
even aware that it was there, then obviously that's not worked into it.
It's, yeah, I guess, you know, I guess I
So-
can't speak to how that one would have been reviewed,
Do you have
but
a
it's-
What can I
checklist?
do,
We-
what can I do with the 40% that I know are not represented
you
on
know,
the tax assessor's
and you know
map?
that there's 40% because it's coming from the state website? Like, is that
so
where, is
that's
that
what
where
you
the
guys wanna
source
do
is?
then, right, is check the state website when you're approving stuff?
Like, when I, yeah, to be able to name them in staff memos, it's usually where I go.
So, so going from the state database and comparing it against the tax assessor's map, that one that you just had up,
Mhm.
that's how I came up with that percentage.
Okay,
So there's a project there, I think, where you're saying is that someone needs to update the tax assessment map to show the 60% that are missing,
The 40%.
40% that are missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
For now, planning goes to the state website for the comprehensive list of all of the cemeteries
And not the tax assessor.
and not the tax assessors, right?
Makes sense.
You have
It's-
that on your little checklist when you're approving stuff?
yeah, there's a line, and that's when, like, easements are part of that. So if there's one that we find on a property that doesn't, you know, if it's like set in from the road, like it's not just literally accessible from the street, then when a development proposal comes before us, that's the occasion to ask for an easement. And so, if it already existed, I guess we would say show it on the plan. But most cases, I've seen a few, but not many in my 1 year here. We basically would say, so, draft up language for an access easement and then draw it onto the plan. But that's the occasion, the checklist as it's built has language that makes us check for cemeteries.
I'm stepping way beyond my bounds right now, but I think it would be prudent for the planning department to go back to that approval of that development and see who did that and what was missing so that that person missed that cemetery. Not because they're probably not here, they're probably long gone, but so we don't repeat those kind of mistakes. What went wrong in the process that we can look at and make sure it doesn't happen again?
To the extent such a forensic thing is even possible beyond just saying,
We have a
if it
folder
wasn't
somewhere, right?
mentioned, if it wasn't mentioned, yeah, I know, but I'm saying like. Like how do you prove the absence of something, I guess, like. If I don't see it mentioned, then probably, I guess like the most logical assumption is. Maybe, well, it could have been that the checklist was different at the
Well,
time.
we don't know until we look at it. or
Yeah, I
you
don't know, I
look
mean,
at it.
it's, no reason not to look, but I'm
Yeah.
saying,
There
what
could
would
be a
I
thing
find?
on
Probably just like,
it. You might find it where it says, is there a cemetery on there? And it checked no. And I'm just saying,
yeah,
you don't know what's in the file unless you look.
yeah,
And not to be vindictive against somebody that's long gone, but so that you can say, okay, I see what happened on
Yeah.
that one. So I'm gonna change our process a little bit, so that doesn't happen again.
Especially because some of the cemeteries aren't listed on the town
Yeah,
assessors map.
it
So,
could be,
you need
it
to
could
stop
be that,
that.
maybe people. Checklist could have been different, it could be that the checklist was the same, but they didn't know to look to the state website. And they're only looking at GIS, and these were examples of ones that weren't shown. It's, I guess it could be one of these things, it's.
those would be the good questions to ask when you're looking at the folder.
Mhm,
It's just bringing it up is because we're in a development mode in town,
Yep,
so that it doesn't have to happen again if we can avoid it.
you've at least got a watchful eye and me for what it's worth,
Yes.
but I know.
Thank goodness.
It's, to be able to get something lasting that, the people who are reviewing the proposals remember.
We need to give him a cemetery map then.
Yeah, so when I've mentioned it in the past, between past planners and managers, there was this sheer panic that we can't, I don't have anybody, we don't have a budget to redraw the maps. And I'm saying, but I don't think that you have to do that if you have a GPS map and,
Is the
why you have
idea,
to reinvent
You're gonna
the
plop it
wheel.
in.
is your idea ultimately to see it on the town's GIS site? Or are you thinking just as long as there's some map that's accessible to the town?
Exactly, for this reason, because, to the public, it's accessible on a Google map. But to make the connection to the town properties or to the properties in the town.
I wonder if. I know, because there's nobody in the planning department itself. Who works with GIS. But it either doesn't need to necessarily be GIS or just thinking, I wonder if this is like another good project that would make sense to like apply for a grant funding for, to hire somebody if we could find.
This would be a great job for Larry.
Yeah, so you saw that, Alex, on
Yep.
there when you zoomed in, when you went to the Big River road.
Yeah,
If you go to the database,
Person that works with.
yeah, and at the very bottom, view all cemeteries statewide.
I mean, apparently the state already has one.
Yeah,
So
no, we
why is
definitely,
the
exactly, it
problem?
exists, so that's what I'm saying, is there a way to take that work that's already been done? And overlap it
on
somehow
that
with what the
material.
town has
So-
access to?
Has Larry Minier done that with his?
I don't know,
It may be done already on his.
I mean, that was done like in
That was-
2013.
and this one, so this is based on dots, it's not like shapes. Even so, I mean, I wonder if there's an opportunity to get this like, have the link on the town website. That it's a resource that people can just easily reference, that, they find it there too. As well as on the State Historic Cemetery site.
That'd be a good link on our website when we ever get that historic preservation website.
Mhm. There's the actual, the dimensions of the lots if they exist in any form like that, then yeah, there's probably like Google, what is this, My Maps, I think. I'm pretty sure you could download, like if it was a drawn shape, well, they have, I think you can download as like KMZ files or something. But I'm just saying, I think it downloads what it is. So like this would, if you imported that into GIS, I think it would be dots instead of
Yeah.
like, you know, the shape
Right,
of
it's
the
not gonna have the
cemetery.
perimeters.
Yeah,
of-
Which I
that'd be
mean,
flag, though.
There's a,
All your new-
Exactly.
yeah, it's-
Exactly,
there may be a value to even just having a dot.
Yeah,
exactly.
I know, I don't know, I myself, I'd love one day to know more about GIS. I just haven't,
Yeah,
I've never been the developer of it. But I think that it makes
Yeah.
sense if it can be, if that can somehow be interwoven as a layer.
exactly. And just like Nick said, an alert that it's in the area, further investigation is required.
Make a note of it. Even, yeah, because I would see some value in even in the interim, just putting the link again on the town site so that people can get to it. Even, I don't know if I can get the town page, oh, yeah. If this loads, but just to show you like one example of where I spoke too soon. Anyway, on the right side, if you can imagine the planning department page, on the right side, we have like links for various resources, like, you know, probably could be put as one of the links in that. Boy, I hope is it still recording? Yeah, okay, good. All right, let's not push our luck.
Okay.
But anyway, that would be my first thought, but I think maybe we jot that down too onto the combined list of tasks. So we keep track of that too, to try to get it integrated.
Now, is that a private mapping that somebody did? Or is that something the
So-
state did?
It was, a person was working at URI at the time. And he set out volunteers to all the different towns, and essentially all we had was consumer grade Garmin GPS, handheld GPS units, and we just went out there and checked and then double checked. And then this person put together this ArcGIS project, and then it was converted to this Google map by someone else, by the State Cemetery Commission.
I wonder if the GIS, the ArcGIS version exists. That might be more readily
That would be
importable.
more-
I could,
More
yeah,
useful.
I think
'Cause
I have the link to that.
I could
Thank
imagine
you.
the Google My Map one. What's easy about that is you don't have to worry about having GIS. You know what I mean? Like I
Your
could see
average
I could
user
see
can
how
just
that
pull it
would
up and
be-
Look at it,
to make something like that is
But-
just easier for public
I
consumption.
could send you the link for the
but if
original
you're trying to
project.
we've at least-
download and use that data, that
Mhm.
ArcGIS would be a lot better.
At the very least, having something like, you know, putting up any link to the town website doesn't seem to hurt in any way. But yeah, if such a thing, if that still is recoverable, that might actually have like the shapes of the lots in addition to the dots. It's something at least that we could check.
No, but when you, but from where you clicked on the red dot, when you clicked on the
Yeah.
link and it opens up into with the details of the cemetery, there are dimensions that are recorded in there.
Okay.
It may not be mapped out
Yeah.
with the
So you
GPS
think even-
locations, but
already
there's
walked it.
definitely, it's been measured and recorded.
Something's better than nothing then. It sounds like, yeah,
An alert.
whatever form it takes. I mean, even if it's dots versus shapes, I would, yeah, if the ArcGIS version exists, I would imagine that would be like the gold standard. I still think you can probably download data from a Google map that can be in a file type that's importable. I just don't know that for myself, for certain. But worthy of investigation.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you, Maureen.
3 schools on there. Because of the fence, we had talked about asking a Boy Scout troop take care of the fence. What's the process on with the town for that? Do we have to do something special to ask the town
I guess
to allow?
you're collaborating with DPW from the
Yeah.
town side. Have Boy Scouts done it before, or well, I'm sorry,
Well,
Scouts in general,
well,
done it
yeah.
before?
During a historic, when it was belonged to the Historical Society, yeah, they have.
When was the last time that they
A
came
long
through?
while ago. a long
Okay.
while ago.
Does like the troop still exist at least?
Yes,
Okay. Do you know if, are there any of the people, like any of the Scoutmasters or anyone the same people that you worked with before?
yes. I haven't
Because-
really approached them yet, because I don't want to do something the town's gonna say you can't do.
Mhm. I guess, I mean, my assumption would be we start off by bringing up the idea with, Kevin, I guess it's
Because I know
DPW.
DPW said they don't want to take care of the fence.
So they may be open to the idea. Does it need is it just a painting? So it's not like material replacement or what?
There's some rotted. where
Yeah,
they
the
need to be
gate's
replaced.
falling off and.
Painting, sweepings, there'll be some.
Some
Painting.
carpentry.
Some-
How old is,
Up to the scouts.
it's not like, lead paint, is it? Is that old?
I don't think it's that old. It
So
would have
it's
to
not
be
like-
before
it's
like
not that-
76.
No, it's
or
done.
something.
Not that
Maybe-
age.
It was
Okay,
done maybe 15 years ago.
Yeah,
so it's not gonna be like a
No,
health worry.
The
or-
question
But-
is
but
it'll gonna be
town And their liability. and,
exactly,
you
it's
know,
gonna be a liability
so
issue.
yeah,
Allow it.
that's why, so I would have to ask
I
Kevin.
guess we ask him, yeah, cause I guess I haven't seen a situation like that before. There's a lot
Does
that I see for the first time.
volunteer work for the
Mm.
town on town properties?
Yeah, I don't yet know of any example like that. So,
Because that's pretty much what you're asking.
mhm. If such
With the garden.
an arrangement doesn't
Well, that's what
exist
the
yet,
Boy Scouts-
then I guess that's what we ask.
I guess you asked the question, are the Boy Scouts insured?
Huh.
You know, do they have insurance on them? I mean, like,
Well, that may be what, yeah, maybe that's what
Right.
Kevin says,
I-
just like as long as they can show
Yeah.
evidence of insurance, we're
if they
open
take
to the
kids on
idea.
trips and do stuff, maybe they are covered by insurance, so,
Probably. You know, they build birdhouses at tables and stuff. and
yeah.
Work their hand.
I mean, you do a lot of things where they could get hurt, so they probably do. But if they have insurance, that may solve the problem, because the town
Hmm.
generally is gonna be concerned about liability. if
Yeah,
someone
well,
gets hurt.
exactly what they're gonna be.
The
concerned
issue
about.
about scouts too, where they helped with the garden, they're not allowed to use power tools and whatever. So the fathers were there
Yep,
to
Yep.
take care of that part.
So it may take different forms. Maybe it's they need parent chaperones too for whatever the
Mhm.
operation of some things. If DPW says to you, like, we'd be comfortable with them painting but not replacing, like
The wood.
fence slats, would you still consider that worthwhile, like some kind of activity? Aside from, making the fence better, do you see it as important to like have occasions to have outreach with different groups? So the HPC to do stuff? Or would you say like, if they said we only want them to do part of the work, would you say maybe better to just do it correctly once?
It's better to do it correctly.
Yeah,
because You're
I
not
would
gonna
think-
paint over rotted wood
let me ask you this, do you want me to take a look at it, take pictures of it, to think
to
Yes,
see
Right.
exactly what's
That's-
needed.
what's needed?
Yes.
yeah,
I think it probably makes sense, just better to go into the
Yeah,
conversation
I mean,
knowing.
it's close by, so, I
because
can,
the fence is not original to the school.
no,
Doesn't have fences,
done by Coventry Historical.
right, it was. So
I
the
haven't,
point is,
I mean, I drive by it, but I've never looked closely.
I mean,
at
it looks
so-
good until you start
Yeah.
looking close
Yeah.
at it
But
and
it
then
was
you
like a
realize.
flagpole, which I
Exactly.
got,
right, you didn't know what
done
that
last
was
year.
until,
but that had unseen rot and
Yep.
everything else on it
And that's what
that
the
Mike
fence is.
Kana had to fix and do all that too. You know, so I could go by, take pictures of stuff I see, whatever, and then I can say to you, well, it's kind of beyond the skill level of Boy
Of your
Scouts,
basic
and maybe
wisdom.
you shouldn't do that, or no, it's fine, they should be able to do it.
Let's start there then.
Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
let's get a sense of, yes, what
Yeah.
are we actually looking at for this type of work? Is this within the realm of what a Boy Scout troop could do? If so, then we pass along whatever
yeah,
documentation we've
just
got.
figuring out the
say.
process, it takes
Yeah,
time.
Tom Sawyer, I'll go out with paint. That's it.
I guess that's what this amounts to, yeah. Oh, man.
I think they're gonna find out.
Okay. And can we just do the new business thing first, because it's very short?
Okay.
I was handed this on August 6th, the Coventry to Police Department are doing a night out, 5:30 to 7:30, and they're asking departments and organizations if they want to take part. It's a community night where you can have a table and tell them what you do.
Okay.
I'm just bringing it up now. You don't have to decide right this minute, but I just wanted to bring that up.
On Tuesday.
We don't have any,
We've got
like
some time to
pre-fold
put something
flyer
together.
type thing?
We've got some time to put something together.
I don't know if we need a table, but it's a.
Well, I don't know
had our,
exactly.
like little fold out on one of the
Yeah,
tables, someone could take.
Yeah, and then if, people are there to ask questions or what, somebody can say blah, blah.
I think
Or
it'd be
Paul
good.
wants to bring some of his maps or
Yeah.
whatever. It seems to attract people.
I think we should push ourselves a little bit to have a table and
Mhm.
a banner made that says
Yeah.
Coventry
Mhm.
Historic Preservation Commission. We could have and I always keep going back to that driving tour of the
Mhm,
town.
Mhm.
Cause that was already in
Yeah.
a trifold before. We could probably
Exactly,
have that
Mhm.
redone,
Probably
at bare
get that.
minimum right there.
yeah.
We
should
can do
even be
a
extended.
pre-fold. I've done plenty for
Yeah.
myself and publisher.
Yeah.
We've got a couple of months to put it together. It's just they're asking who wants to
But
participate.
Don't try to take
Not that
your
I'm,
publisher document and send it to Mr. Fred, because they don't take them.
no, I print them myself.
Pain in the neck.
So it's just a
Like I
matter
say,
of.
if you want
they're
something
asking who
done
wants to
right.
Participate, so.
It's just
the way I
a lot
always did
cheaper.
it.
I'm frugal.
I say signs up.
I print it out and I take it to a quick
It's only
copy
2
and will
hours.
give
It's not
me
like it's all day
X amount of
long or whatever.
copies.
So they'll have to be on the next few, minute, agendas too, right? So each.
Well, we only
Right.
have one more before
Yeah.
that, so we
Yeah,
only have.
We don't have July,
one
it's
more.
August 6th.
We have to get.
So do we want to make a motion on this and that we want to do it? Is it an emotion?
Yeah.
An emotion? Is it emotional?
Depends on what anybody throws at you.
I make a motion that we will participate in the August sixth
National Night Out.
National Night Out, Coventry Police Department.
I'll
Second,
second that motion.
all in favor?
Uh,
Opposed? Okay, I just wanted to bring that up because it's a couple months, we have time to
Mm.
put something together, but
Do you have a copy of the driving? tour?
Yeah,
it needs to be expanded though.
So for next month, you want to have a occasion to discuss like what pieces, so that would be like a month before the event itself. So yeah,
Mhm.
I guess that's reasonable enough time, because this
Mhm.
isn't gonna be like,
so the bare minimum, bring our
Well,
materials to
yeah,
that
we
meeting,
can-
like.
yeah, we-
covering
like-
the-
Think
Yeah.
about it,
Yeah.
to,
Yeah, yeah.
so we do it. Can I ask one thing just graphically? The Coventry symbol,
Mhm.
when you do your stuff, do you have that as a separate symbol in your stuff that you
Logo.
can?
Like a
Send to
JPEG.
me.
There may be, I can try to look in the drive to see, this is always preloaded into the
I
computer
know, that's why
program we
I
do.
just, but we
There
can
may
have
be-
it to
yeah.
do official.
Let me see if,
Coventry
I mean, there
Historic.
may be a file floating around in our system. So let me
Right,
look.
to see if you had that, 'cause,
Peel it off the.
you know, sometimes I get stuff from like Coventry Lumber, I'll get a bill from them, but their symbol, it's the Coventry Lumber logo is a separate thing, and if you download, it comes out separate.
Mhm.
So I was just thinking for us, and this is just a little aside, for us to be able to have, again, publish a document I use for memos and stuff that I created, all right. You do the same with this for us, that we have the Coventry symbol, and then we have Coventry Historic Preservation Commission and Chairman Norma Smith and our names, and that is a standard. Every one of you would have it on your computer if you want to do,
Mhm.
you know, for it. I would just create it that way, so we all have it.
Like
You
a
know,
logo.
and use it, so we have it for things that we're gonna do like this, where we're gonna, because you might use that to type up where we're gonna present such and such and, or different things like that, you know.
So what else
It's
do
easy to
you want
do.
added to
So,
that
I don't
drawing?
have a way to get that
Yeah.
symbol.
So
which
just on
could
my
be on.
to-do list, so it just moves to the top of the to-do list.
See it from,
Yeah.
it doesn't go all the way over Western Coventry, from what I remember.
With that, just add to it what you want to have added to it, and I can, make a list and
Oh,
send
yeah.
it out, and you all can take a look at it.
Yeah, I know I
It's
have
just
a
question
copy of this
Plotting
somewhere.
it.
And Judge Madison had a copy too.
Yeah, I've got a
Reminded
copy of
me
some
of
of
something.
it, yeah.
My stuff.
Huh?
When you were talking about a standard letterhead,
Mhm.
I think you were at the meeting with me, Maureen, where they're saying that you can't use we don't recommend you using your personal emails for town business, and everyone was gonna get a town email. Remember that?
Meeting, the
was
public
like
meeting,
a year ago.
the public
Yeah, we never
meeting,
did that.
Well,
training that we
this-
had.
Yeah, I
We all
wasn't
went to a
here,
meeting
but I
and they
remember that.
said everyone was getting a town email because they don't want you to use your personal email.
Did the town
It
ran
was a
it?
town meeting,
Hmm.
yep,
Is
for
it the one
all
around the
council
corner?
members or.
Because, I mean, technically, it can
that's-
be
Around the corner in the auditorium, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
as a public information requests. So they
What are you
can get your
kidding?
personal emails, and so effectively, yeah.
You're gonna wanna.
Just
put
like
together-
they can't
It would
do
be,
that.
I mean, for us, it would be most relevant,
You
if
know,
we
like
were,
copies.
getting like outside,
Don't find this my personal, I just
Unofficial.
remember went to the meeting and
Coventry
said,
is.
I can
we're
ask-
getting you your own
Right.
email,
Yeah.
so that
There's
you
a
don't
lot
use your
missing.
personal
Or
one.
not
The
on
other
there.
thing
I can
you
mention it to
do is
Cody.
you can
Plus it should
create
be
an email
further out.
account just
I can-
for
No, just scan this.
commission
I
business.
What I'm talking about
If
expanding.
you don't wanna
Oh,
sort, I
being-
mean, the chances of
I can do anything you want with
Yeah.
it.
public
Chase,
records requests for, I mean, everything we
Chase
do is
Mill,
on
no,
camera, it's
so
not like we
it's
meet
still there.
separately.
But-
send
and it's
emails.
also that we don't review projects
Should be
in like,
noted.
that's
Oh,
where,
you wanna add something.
that's where those
Yeah, I
requests
wanna
come
add
from,
something.
basically.
Yes.
It's like, did we thwart
What I do
someone's
with this
desire
thing,
to
I
build,
put
you know,
this
whatever,
into my
like
software,
skyscraper on
and
their
then I
historic
Locking it
property,
to-
and then they wanna fight it. It's like, that's where a lot of that will come
Where
in.
is it on it?
What?
The thing you're talking about on.
Well, for instance, the Maple Valley Road
Mhm.
and the Audubon property, there's the
Yeah.
cannons and whatever,
Okay.
but there's also
What I'm
two.
gonna do
the
is I'm gonna
ruins-
make a copy for you and then you're gonna write it on there and then
Okay.
I'll draw it in on
Okay.
another copy.
There's the
probably.
ruins of the Chase Mill, which
Yeah,
was run
But
by
you just write,
Black Three
yeah,
Mill.
and then I'll put the stuff in and do another one.
Okay, because
I
there's
just
quite a few
take it
things.
out
that-
It's a nice,
Right.
yeah,
I
you
think
just update
would
it,
be
you start
added.
with that, and then you can draw in the things, you update it with a different scan, and now you've got the
Then we
thing the
have
way
it,
you
yeah.
want it.
I would-
modified.
My suggestion would be is to take a map, like
Mm-hmm.
a Google map or something, screenshot it so that you have all of your roads and then map it out onto your Google Maps so that people can find it.
Mm.
With having the real roads and it will be to
I'm not to
scale.
that level yet. You'd
I
have
mean,
to, you'd have to show me how to do
It's not
that.
hard, it just,
Okay.
it would be to scale.
Yeah.
And you can, instead of using 8.5 by 11, use the 14 inch and then double
Let me show
fold
you
it.
Once I get it, but.
We also
I
have to
need
keep an eye on the
instructions
clock
there.
too with that,
Yep.
you know,
Yeah.
to have it ready
There's a few
when
other
we get
things that
know
could be
that.
added, yeah.
not only now, but I mean the project, so it's
Project,
ready to
yeah.
go on
Are
the
you
table
gonna
and
hold on to that, or you?
all
I
that.
mean, I can send you the screenshot to size and you can just start sticking little overlays on it.
I'm glad you had that.
Okay. So we're gonna go on to the visioning exercise.
Okay, we don't need, like I said, over email, we don't need to be heroes and do it all in one day, but basically, I think that. So this is, okay, this is also part of it, we can take notes, by now, I think we should take them into a separate document, it's just nice to have this one open.
I have them,
But
I have the separate document.
did you make the one that, yeah, do you?
What I,
you've got something
what I
passed out.
did, I think I have enough copies. Is I took all the different segments like organization, education, and I organized them by their priority. So there's a group of reds and a group of yellows.
You gave me one, right?
Yeah, but this one's got everything. When I gave it to you previously, it didn't have everything on there. So the way I've got this organized, like I said, is by the priority. The reds are the first one, short-term tasks up to 6 months. Then you've got the yellow, medium-term tasks, up to 12 months, the green. And then the blue for ongoing. I just simply took everything from there and carefully made sure that I had them all listed here. And so now they're in order of priority rather than order of category. So, but just so we always know where they came from, I have a column for visioning exercise category. So we'll have a reference to what that is part of. And then I just put a column here for now, estimated completion date. We could probably put a from and to date there. So that's what I did there.
It is a helpful visualization.
Yeah,
So it gives you guys a chance to think about, do you? I guess the end question to putting together a calendar that whatever the calendar is going to be. And building it out, again, it can be like, for however, we spend however much time at meetings we want to for it, like maybe you do 6 months at a time over 3 meetings or something, just to put together a calendar that is good for a decent horizon. Do you want to take it where, how you think about how you want to prioritize? Is it important to do things like, do you want to start off with the things that show up basically as short-term. Like, it's a decision. Would you rather start like, are there specific projects that show up in medium or long-term that you think we know we want to be done by a certain point, so we need to start now? These are the sorts of things I guess you can weigh. I mean, it's up to you.
My input would be, just so we actually start getting something done, is to just pick a few out of each segment and make those, our test subjects so that we actually have a timeline for something. In other words, with short term, maybe we should try to work out a timeline for all of those short term, but then pick like 2 from the yellow and one from the green or something like that, because I think we'll be overwhelmed at this point if we try to put a timeline to all 14 of the green and the 4 on the ongoing. Just a place to
Too
get
far into
started.
the future, maybe, to know. It's the calendar that we'll ultimately put together, whatever form it takes. Certainly, at that far out, it can kind of be like a flexible in the sense that it's like you get as specific as like medium term, long term, as opposed to, yeah, like Nick just said, that we put specific dates to them and then constantly adjust as we find that things take longer
Yeah.
maybe than we think.
That's true too. That's another way to do it is, instead of what I just said, just start by getting some dates in here, even if we know that we're probably not gonna stick with those dates in the next couple of meetings, but just to like have an idea.
It can be as nimble as you want it to be, I guess. And yeah, and I mean, you can see there are all different ways to cut it. You may decide like we need to get our organizational stuff down before we do anything else, or you might say we've got a couple interesting educational opportunities that are coming up with whatever, with the 250th anniversary celebrations. These are the sorts of things you can weigh as you try to decide which things to take. I think at the very beginning, one of my pieces of advice was that once we do get it all on the table and start to decide, probably safest to think like maybe 4 irons in the fire at any one time, to make sure that we give everything the attention it needs to be done right, I guess. So it's, these are, I guess, the sorts of things you can just start to weigh.
And another issue that I've been dealing with is that when we only meet for about an hour once a month, we have to come up with a way to actually accomplish this outside of that timeline. So, I mean, that's something that we're probably not gonna be able to figure out right this minute. But how do we accomplish these things with such limited communication because of open meetings and, things like that? We have to find some way to get a little bit of freedom to work
Is
together
Is
on
it possible,
projects.
and I've wondered too, is it possible to have like subcommittees, like working groups or something, like
Mhm.
2 of you break
Anything
off
would be
on something?
acceptable. Yeah.
As long as it's not 3.
Okay,
Right, and as long as the decisions
Is
aren't
that
really
how
made on the
it works?
committee, they have to
It's not-
work on it to
It's
bring
three,
it
as
back
long
to
as
the
it's posted.
committee to be
Well, it
approved.
can be 3, we can do a special open meeting. I mean, we could
It
pick
could be
another
on, it
night.
doesn't have to be here, it
No,
could be,
no, it could be an open meeting, but you'd have to post it.
no, yeah, so that would be the problem, like if we were gonna meet at your house around your kitchen table to work out some things and there's 3 of us there, now you're posting your address as a public meeting, anyone can come into your house.
Yeah.
And not that anyone went to,
Take
no
my
one's ever
stuff.
here.
it's,
But I mean, we'd have to invite, if they showed up, we'd
It's-
have to invite them in to sit.
Right, people
right.
gather
We'll send
can.
Max out to meet him.
I think that it sounds like maybe 2 is a good number
Maybe
then.
2,
I
yeah.
mean, you're a group of 6 too,
Mhm.
so theory, you could break up into as many as 3 groups at once. But maybe that's a way of making some in-between meeting progress, if there are things to be drafted.
Because there's a lot of time
That-
wasted in between.
Right, there is.
Yeah.
Yeah, drafting it and then just bring it back to the open meeting for approval or commentary or whatever.
Yeah,
As long as you say it's 2 people or 2 people and somebody from the outside, somebody that's not on the commission, draft somebody into helping.
it'll help once we have an example to look at, like and that's again, we can take each project as it comes up, you can say like, okay, let's focus on these 3 or these 4 during the next, whatever, 3 months.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so we say, okay, so these are the ones we're talking about. What are these tasks? What's it gonna take to do these ones? We've to some extent written down at least who might we be interacting with. You can start to sketch out, you know,
I
at
was,
one of these first meetings, what's
Yeah.
it gonna take? How much of this can be done in between?
I was gonna add another column too, but I wanted to wait till until I talked to everyone here. Another column for who is going to do those projects, who's gonna be responsible. So I could envision, for example, if the column said who's gonna work on a project, review and update historic zoning ordinance. It's item number 1 on here, then it could be Norma and Nick, or Paul and Nick, or Paul and,
Whoever.
you know, and have it by Tuesdays. So that we avoid the open meeting issue, and then that little team comes back to the
Do the
meeting.
meeting.
And
Yes.
here's what we have come up with, and then you can have like 3 groups of 2 each at one meeting. So me and Paul talk about our zoning ordinance,
Mhm.
and then 2 other people talk about another item on here. And then, so we could do something like that to actually have, reports on
Teams.
3 projects at a time, each
Right,
meeting,
exactly.
you know.
And of course, you can,
Erin's our expert on all things grants.
On all things grant.
there's no reason you have to silo yourselves either, you know, if you wanna.
Right,
If what, you know, one project you try something education and then the next one you wanna focus on, you know, you can self-regulate.
Yep.
Or if you have no interest at all in touching organization, you know, nobody's gonna
yeah,
force you to.
just jump in with both feet for now, and if we don't like how we've set things up, we'll always adjust it again, you know, as we go along.
I think that it makes sense, to maybe do it that way, cause it does naturally lend itself to like. I think maybe the right, like the expression I use, iron in the fire, a manageable number at any one time. That, you know, you got a decent amount of focus, but you're not just doing only one thing at a
Mhm.
time.
We're not
why don't
waiting
we
30
can-
days before we can.
I
I mean,
think
we
it's
are, as
worth
far as
it,
the meeting's concerned, but work is done in between.
feels worth a try anyway.
I have a question. The pink granite, which we've been talking about for a long time. If someone else is willing to pay
It's item
for it,
number 10.
it's town property. If somebody else is willing to pay for it, what would be the process of approaching the town? Is that manager first?
I would,
So
Town
it's basically
council,
donated. to the
what,
town.
and who owns it? I mean, it's
So-
town, but what is the land for? Is it like a public park or is it
It's
a
the
school
Anthony
or what?
Green,
We're
the
gonna
Anthony
put those-
Green down
yeah.
across from the Anthony Mill.
public park.
So it's a park.
There's probably a place in the town. charter.
Maybe, so I don't know, I mean, I'm
Issues to the
thinking like,
town.
is it Parks and Rec that we talked to first?
Parks and Rec is under it, and she doesn't like the idea. I've already talked to her about it.
About someone donating?
No, about the project.
Oh,
They'll have to mow around it.
As if that's gonna make it real difficult for them. Might take them 1 minute longer.
But
But
This is,
anyway.
well, it's
no,
part of, I mean,
that's an example of
But-
town commitment to these things.
but it's
Well,
also part of the process of, you know, that's why you identify who the different stakeholders are. You gotta, you
Yeah.
know, gotta get everybody on board, so.
The town owns the stone sitting in Public
Right,
Works,
town
has
owns the
been for
stone
5
from
years.
the mill worker house across the street that they demolished. So it would go diagonally across the street with a plaque saying what it is,
Mhm.
as part of the Anthony Green.
But again, the question comes, who, is it the town council that would have to be presented with that to approve it, or is it the town?
I mean, I guess
That
if you don't, I don't know off the top of my head. I guess eventually it gets to them, but you don't bring it to them like,
First.
you know what I mean? You
Decision
don't, yeah,
whether
if there's like,
or not.
but if we know, for example, it sounds like the first thing is, you know, get everybody on board. Like you
Right.
don't go to the council and then have immediately Parks and
No,
Rec
that's why
say,
I'm asking.
yeah.
That's
So
why I'm
I think
asking.
it starts with, I mean, I would imagine if the land that it's on is currently being used as a park. Seems like it makes as much sense, that it's
Well,
probably Parks and Rec.
knows it.
Back
Yeah.
to the original issue, though, you said someone might be willing to donate the cost of labor.
No,
Donate what?
The cost of the project.
no. That's not, the town isn't gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
so
not
nothing
gonna
doing
donate.
it. Yes,
Coventry Historical Society,
Yeah.
So who owns the stone right now?
the town,
And where is the stone?
it's at
DPW.
Public Works.
Okay.
They've been waiting
And
for
so
us
what
to
is,
get it out of
what
there.
is the project that we need someone to
It's
donate?
a little design that I did for a seating area, and they're using the pink granite.
They're gonna need to get
Okay.
a tractor to.
So
I
you
have
know,
a
it
graphic
would be the
design company
construction
make some images of it, to
But the
present
original point
to
that
the town.
Norma brought up, that
So-
someone might want to donate that labor,
No,
The cost, the
the
cost.
cost of the labor, okay. So,
someone's gonna pay for the labor.
nice.
So that's just to pick the stone up and move it and put it in the right position.
Yeah, well, it's.
It's a
a
pro-
No, I understand, I'm
job.
just trying to get
Excavation.
stuck in my brain,
Excavation.
what the steps would be, and also say.
That means somebody wants to donate $10,000 to pay for it?
No,
You explain it.
okay. This project grew out of the whole thing to memorialize the workers.
Right.
And we saved the pink granite from there, the town brought it to Public Works when that was dismantled, so that we could come up with a way to use it. Norma and I have talked about this, and I did a small design for it where there are two walls coming this way that would be constructed from the pink granite by a mason. So the cost is gonna be between $8,000 and $10,000 to do it by the mason, which would mean a small machine to set the stone and do all the stuff that has to be done to do it. Because it's quite a bit of work, and you put all the little chinks of stone in to get it all level and all set permanently. And it would go in, there's enough of a slope in the land to set that in so that it'll kind of grows out of it and it'll make sense.
Mhm.
And we would do a sign, a signage thing there with picture of the worker's house, describing why we were doing it
The importance of it.
and the importance of it. So Coventry Historical Society has the funds to pay for the masonry work.
Oh,
The town can help, we don't know they will, if they would transport the stone there instead of having to pay the mason to take the time to go there and do it, which would, would happen. So he can do that, but if the town, was willing to
Can help.
help with that, it would lower the cost of, for that amount of labor to do the stuff. So that's where we were at with it. So the question is, because the town wouldn't have to pay for it, how do we go about and who do we start with to get the process in the works, to get that project in the works?
Mhm.
So we're being
Parks and
told that
Rec,
go to Park and Rec,
they
which
don't-
I'm more than happy to go do, and
They don't want it because they have to mow around it?
Well, at the
Yeah.
time that it was first discussed,
but I have images now.
She was
if
very
you want
short
me, I'll
staffed,
send
and
them
she
to
isn't
you.
any longer.
I think, yeah, might as well have it on.
I
hand,
think
yeah.
it's a sit-down
But-
conversation with them, we have this,
How
we
long-
potentially have this.
Maybe I just missed it, but as well, how long ago was that conversation?
Wait, well, a while. I don't know how long she's been.
I think if I
Sometimes people's minds can
explained
change.
and show them, I don't think it would be.
Drawing.
The importance of this particular
It's
building,
better than a drawing, it's 3D photo imaging.
Perfect.
the importance of this particular building is that it was built in 1805 when they were building the mill. So the people who were working on the mill
Yeah,
had a place to live. The mill houses came later. This is
Yeah.
not a mill house, it was a.
Not where the
working house.
workers,
Yeah,
the people
yeah.
building the mill live.
Yeah.
So just so I understand,
So it goes back to 1805,
Mm-hmm.
when they were first building the mill, not the mill that's there now. It was a
No,
wooden mill,
the first one.
like Slater.
yeah, do we have written information on that?
I do.
Yeah.
Curious to see
Yeah.
that for research.
Yeah.
So just so I understand, basically, the society has funding to pay the mason to do the work,
Mhm.
and we need the town to pay for taking it from here and bringing it somewhere for the mason to work on, and then take it from there to the park.
We don't have to, but it will save money on the project if they bring the stone there, which they may not want to, so it's not a big deal. My mason, they would just have to load it on his flatbed there at the
And then
town,
the
yeah.
mason would take it
Which
to the
I don't,
shop.
again, they know all about this and they pretty much agreed to do that
Okay,
much, which
yeah.
is to take their backhoe and take the stone.
They have the
change.
equipment to pick it up and
Right,
move
yeah.
it.
They
But
took
I-
it to DPW.
Yeah.
The town took it
But
to
I mean, they
DPW.
put it on the masons.
So
Heavy
if the
duty.
society is still an active organization, at least on paper, and they have some funding to pay for that, it seems like a society project and the town wouldn't have to.
It's gotta go on town
Concern-
Yeah, but
property
it's going
though.
on
It's
top
not
of
on
the
town
property,
property.
that's why.
So it
So
would
it's
be
not-
a
That's the
donation
glitch.
to the town, basically.
That's the glitch.
Okay, so I'll look in the town charter to see
Okay.
what the process is for
Right, yeah,
accepting a
because in other
donation.
words, we can't just go on town property and put this
No, no, no.
Now,
memorial thing
Right.
in without their approval, so.
we used to.
And
have
you're
them
asking or saying that
accepted
we
in
could
a
go to,
meeting.
So
Parks and Rec first to talk to them about.
Why don't we assemble a nice and neat
To
pitch?
give them a heads up and,
Yeah, I mean, put together the document first that, whatever it is, a single sheet with the images that just you know, gives a nice, the clear, concise summary of like, this is the historical value of this. Because for however many people are now in positions who weren't here when it was first raised several years ago. Just what is, like, what's the point of doing this? What is, you know, the historical interest?
Yeah.
How is this, feature, especially if you knew that previously concern was like maintenance, maybe you say something like, you know, is it low maintenance or what maintenance is involved? But again, just like, you know,
Can we get
where's
somebody
the
to
funding
adopt
coming
it?
from? Funding's coming from
Well,
Coventry
pretty
Historical.
much zero maintenance.
Yeah.
It's granted.
So you make, you know, you basically
don't
just,
address.
you anticipate what are the questions they're gonna ask, just, you know, quick bullet points even, or
Mhm.
sentences that just address that. And that way, when it's time to request, can we bring this idea back up? You basically anticipated
Because-
like what the sticking points could be,
When
and
they-
hopefully that's what clears the
When
logjam.
they started doing the bike path program, it was Guy LaFave Parks and Rec. That was the catalyst of the whole thing. He wanted to have that house brought back to its original structure, straight as close as it could be, and he wanted it as a museum. Well, it took 20 years and the floors were falling through, they ended up tearing it down. But there was money spent on making it a museum because it was a workman's house, not a mill house. And apparently that made it unique. And what's mentioned in the report is the pink granite. That's why I said, let's save the pink granite.
Was the money that you're talking about, well, you said it was spent, so it's not like
It
the,
was
the 10,000
planned.
that you've got right
Yeah.
now, was that money that originally was supposed to go towards
No.
making the place museum?
No, 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 no,
So
no,
it's
no.
separate,
This
just,
goes back 20 years maybe.
okay. And to be, I'm sorry, to be clear, who is the Coventry Historical Society effectively also you guys, or like who is
Not
it?
all of us.
Okay, so who are the people that control it? Okay, but, okay, so
Is that a
the
problem?
people, no, but I'm just thinking like, you know, is it like, do you even need to pick up the phone, or are you just, you know, are you talking to yourself? So, that part, there's no like getting them on sides, you are them
Yeah.
effectively. Okay, okay. Yeah,
Because Coventry Historical Society has had the school. Well, then the town took it back and everybody got mad and left and. So we're just kind of holding it together for the time being to decide what to do, but we've got some money that we would like to see go to a historic purpose rather than sitting in a bank account.
mhm. So, yeah, I mean,
Be cool.
sounds to me like we put together the pitch first.
So that's really all it boils down to, is a proposal to the town to donate that property for this purpose.
May I make a suggestion? At our next meeting, that we show everybody on to what I had.
We had
create-
worked them and I
Not
thought
that
I
I
had.
create, but what I designed and
I
what
thought
the
I had
images
forwarded it
look
to
like
everybody.
with that. And it's simple. I mean, it will take 5 minutes to do it.
So
But
we
to
like, we
show,
just need to, you just
to
need
show
to reach
you
out and
what
touch
it is, and I'll,
Parks and Rec and bring them into the fold and show them your
Yeah.
thing and
yeah.
But again, if you knew that they were worried about it before.
Well, she
have
was very
just-
short-staffed. There was
what
a
are the
lot
workarounds?
going
Yeah,
on
just
at the
have it,
time.
have your case, know what your case is gonna be ahead of time, have it written
And
in
there
a
was no
form that you can
visual.
hand them.
There was no visual. at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Give them
I'll
some,
talk
like,
to you about getting historical information
Yeah.
on that work house.
Yep.
And then I'll put together the images on the thing, so that I'll send it to you, and I can print it out or whatever, or do it by email to Parks and Rec. But I'd rather do it in person.
Well, she's away for 2 weeks, so I'm not
Well,
doing
it's
it
all
right
right.
away anyway.
I'm so busy.
She's in
It's like-
London.
how's that picture scanning go?
She's on vacation. We can track her down and.
But.
Oh, she goes, love you.
That'll, again, I wouldn't have it before then, by the time I get around. to
And that's
doing
fine.
it.
It's, I mean, it's, but I,
Do any commitments now?
a lot of time is spent trying to figure out the process with the town.
Yeah, yeah.
It's, I find it difficult.
Oh, I'll write up something with you, whatever, that describes
Mhm.
why we did the project and the importance of it.
I'll have to
And
look around.
about the workers' house, and there's 2 images that I have that are the good ones of what the gentleman that's a graphic expert created for me based on the design. And we have the aerial view from the Google Maps of the site, so that people, understand where it is. And we'll do a narrative to go with it.
And the fact that DPW wants the
Yep.
granite gone.
They do, they do.
It sounds pretty straightforward, especially if you put
Yeah.
together the proposal, get Parks and Recs on our side. And then,
It's just figuring out the process and
And I'm sure at some point it's gonna have to go to town council to be approved as a
Mhm.
donation to the
Yeah.
town.
yeah,
and I'd like to have
But
them,
that's the last
but
piece.
if it's
of
not
it.
costing, it's not coming out of
Yeah.
their budget at all.
But then you're right, then you do a ribbon cutting or
yes, because that's,
something or other.
that's a way to market ourselves and bring the town council to our side by going and making the presentation. And have them come out and cut the ribbon,
Mhm.
have a ceremony there, so that they get their political benefit out of that.
Okay.
Photo ops.
On this long-term list, I don't see anything for the historic celebration stuff coming up in a couple of years.
2026.
When is it? 26, right?
26.
So would that be, would we put that under green?
Yeah,
That would be long-term.
Because I guess, yeah, it's gonna hit within, it would be in the green range of when it occurs.
I think we didn't put anything when we were doing the Word document. We didn't put anything there because we had left it at the point where we need to talk to the town, namely, I guess, the assistant manager, town manager, to figure out,
who's on the committee and when the committee
Something right
meets.
there.
Yeah.
We left, yeah, we highlighted this in red.
yeah, it's number 5 under the green section.
Oh, yeah.
Wasn't the town
Well,
going
it's
to
not specific.
appoint a committee
It's
to?
part of it.
I didn't know if we
Deal
was
with
have
that?
something
In
specific.
support of our right
long-term
to
on it, but
We need to have Maria, we wouldn't want to like spend a lot of
Okay.
time putting a plan together and then Maria's got a totally different
Yeah,
idea.
because they're
Yep.
supposed to have their own. committee.
I'm only bringing it up because I didn't see a
No, you're
specific
right.
thing on here
Yeah.
for it,
You're
and
right.
that's long-term, but it's gonna take an awful lot of
And this is, yeah,
thought.
this
yeah.
is what I was saying, whatever, 15 minutes ago about when you think about, I don't know, it's, you got a lot of good tasks on this list, but you know, there's only so much you can do in a day, I guess. So these are all different things to consider when deciding like what exactly do you want to take on? Are there projects that you know we need to have done by a certain time and you figure we need to start them? You know, you work backwards in your head and say, when do we need to start them by? That's one way of doing it, but again, it can be what you want it to be. If you decide that you really want to make good headway up front in a certain category, you can organize it that way. If you say, you know, I'll feel a lot better about the length of the list if we can do a few things that are quick that we can just check off. That's a legitimate way of doing it too. It's this, you know, this is the choose your
Well,
own
I'm
adventure
thinking
way.
the
What?
update of the zoning ordinance with the local landmark should be.
And you know, this too, again, we can,
These signs are.
I was gonna say, it may be worth like, you know, sleeping on it. Like maybe we say for the next one, for this next meeting,
Everybody. pick three
everybody, yeah,
projects.
everybody writes down maybe,
I think vision and mission statement too.
well, we may find, I mean, you guys may find that like you all, or 5 out of 6 of you or whatever, have the same thing on your list.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a way to start the conversation and hopefully get, you know, if there are things that are obvious coming up, like, you know, no need to belabor the point.
What you were saying about having another column with
Yeah,
who may be,
so
Who does it?
Working on
Maybe
some-
will be decided at the table
Yeah,
once
I'd
we
like
know what
to-
we want.
I'd like to work on the vision and mission and goals and objective statements. And what I mean by that is I'll do some research and I'll bring to the group some examples of real good mission statements from different states or other municipalities. And then we can cherry pick best practices out of those, so I can do
Okay.
the legwork on that. And as far as number 1 on there, the updating the historic zoning ordinance, we've already done work on that and have a red line version of what we wanted to adjust, so. You know, that one is like ready to go.
Yeah, it's just a matter of when we do that.
You know, resurrect it again, look at it, see if
Yeah.
there's more adjustments that we wanna make, and
And I
then,
can do points of historic interest.
yes. What number is that?
Number 5, under.
Oh, yeah.
You wanna know what mine are?
Or
Number 4, digitize historic documents.
Number 4, where?
And under green,
Long
green
term, I'm
4.
just doing long term here now. Number 7, restore or replace informational signs at Anthony and Harris Village, been working on that. The longest term one that I've gotta work on, and I am gonna approach the owner next month, is, once I have time to take
Oh,
this stuff
the
out,
railroad.
is the extending the greenway over the railroad spur
Yep.
in there, because that requires talking to the owner of that
Who
property
you know.
with a proposal to have them either lease the land for $1 a year, or give the land, whatever, or some way to use that to connect the greenway there to the thing that's literally
Riverwalk.
300 yards, 400 yards
Yeah.
away, that's now fenced
Riverwalk.
off by their parking lot. So that's another thing that I'm working on. And number 10, constructing the terrace seating area. Number 11, the engraved, that's another thing that I've got to find out. And I do have information from it.
There is a
I-
problem there.
Yeah, well, we'll still get the price on doing it.
Well, the problem is that it technically is, I don't know if it actually is a town property.
Well,
It's
it's,
close to the road, so. it
it's
could be
close to the
considered-
road.
Mhm.
So depends on how far the town property line goes back on the road.
Because it's
I
a
thought the
2 acre,
whole lot,
No.
corner lot.
No, it's
No.
not. No one found out it's
it's a
not.
2 acre lot.
So that's, again, I mean, I'm just saying, we gotta,
Yeah.
that's something I'll do.
Yeah.
Work on.
But it's
and-
within that short distance that the town has.
an easement.
And I'll work
through there.
with you on trying to formalize a space at Town Hall Annex for artifacts and
Mhm.
I wonder if that would be a problem though, because that,
workshops.
did you see who the ownership was for
It's
the,
on, yeah,
it's a private owner?
Mhm.
If they ever want to develop that, then it's gonna
it's
be
an
a problem.
estate.
It's an estate, so, especially with the development that's coming along, a 2 acre would be enough for one house on there.
One house.
And they would have to deal with our boulder with the plaque on it, on our easement or the town's easement, so.
Right, we'll find out more. I'm just
Well,
saying,
yeah,
it's
it's a
another
glitch,
project
another
long-term,
glitch.
so.
yeah.
Another glitch. Kim,
Oh, I thought you told me the other.
What about number 3? Me and Nick talked about that.
Which color?
Number 3 in yellow.
Number 3. Yeah, yeah, we can do that.
Me and you can do that.
Yeah.
And repairing the fence at it, I mean, I'm gonna be involved in
start
the
it.
sense of just looking at it as a professional to assess, you know, can the Boy Scouts
Yeah.
handle that or not?
Mhm.
And then if not, then we go from there. And whether we do like we did the last time and I get some prices on it to do it, like we did with the other things for the Reed Schoolhouse. And again, my painter was super generous last time. He did.
It was very generous.
He only charged less than half of what it really cost to do for doing it. And so, you know,
I'm gonna work on the public relations marketing strategy.
When's
Work
that?
on getting under yellow, number 1 and well, sort of number 2. To work on the webpage, find out how the town does that,
So you're on number 1 and 2 of the yellow?
yes. I mean, I'll help with the vision, mission
Yeah.
and all that.
This is just an informal
Yeah.
kind of commitment right now, just to
Um,
get it rolling.
You need, Colleen, you would need to talk to Cody at town hall about the website.
he's in the department of
Yep.
IT.
Yep.
I think, yeah, okay, I was gonna say department.
That's new.
Okay, because that's a
Cody
whole.
Horton,
it's all the way out to
HAUGHTON.
Situate.
Yep.
Every time you meet up.
Doesn't know.
How that works,
I've been going by there regularly because I'm doing a job in Foster and I always
Oh, you
go
go that
that
way?
road to go there.
I'm sorry,
I
did you
keep
pick another one?
promising that I am going to, what's the name? Let me go back here. I lost it now. I'll find it in a second. Give me a second. What did I do? The, The booklet, where is that booklet? I just saw it. Oh, the, review and update the historic architectural resources,
Color and number.
color green number 2,
Mm-hmm.
just to start with retyping that thing so that we have it in an editable format. I'm sorry? I'm not necessarily to redo it, just to retype it, so then you
That's a lot of
go
work,
in
though.
and change it.
I wonder if we could find out from the Rhode Island Historic Preservation and whatever else is in there, the authors of that, maybe they have it,
I think the authors are on it.
yeah.
What's this?
but-
What was
The
this?
booklet, what was the name
Oh,
of
the
it?
78?
Yes.
78?
1978.
Oh, yeah.
Put it in an editable format so that we can,
Yeah.
as we review
Maybe
it,
the
we
state has it.
can ask. I can call them up
That would
and
save
ask
you
and
so
say,
much
hey, you
time.
guys, it's not that many pages, 7 pages or this.
Yeah.
But I'll find out. Something I can do is,
Yeah, and updating that and just us handling that document is a big deal. You know, we can set the,
the tone of
course.
everything else, yes.
Okay, I'll take your,
I'm gonna say go right ahead, but, also by that same token, don't feel pressured, like,
Yeah, we still
you
gotta
have to,
find the
like-
dates, right?
yeah, you could always duke it out in the parking lot after this, for all I know,
Yeah.
it's
No,
just,
this is just
if
informal at
anything,
this point.
yeah,
Yeah.
if anything jumps out, say it, but don't feel like you have to decide today.
No, not at all.
I'll take green one,
Green one.
Standards and guidelines.
and why not? And then 6, obviously.
Yeah.
I think green,
Oh, yeah, there it is.
I think green 3 is on hold until we come through other things.
Yeah.
And I think that publicizing Larry's thing is on hold until we have a website.
Yeah.
So number 4, red is holding, is on hold. And
Paul's
3 is
gonna
on
work on
hold,
it.
green 3 is on hold. Paul, you did say you were gonna do green 13, but can I help?
Green 13.
Didn't you say
Yes.
green 13?
Yeah, green 13.
Can I help?
Me and Norma are gonna work on that.
Oh, can I do it? Norma, can I pick you up?
Yeah.
And work with Paul on it?
To organize
All three of
space.
you.
Yeah,
If we do 3, then we have to make it. It's okay, you guys do that, never mind.
No, no, you can have it. We can still all talk to each other, not all
Yeah.
3 at one time.
It's a committee.
Yeah, especially if you have
Okay.
some ideas.
Yeah.
I don't, but I just like
Think
to see
about it.
how the process is that you get to get a space.
well, this is,
Well, it'll
She
see.
just wants to be.
you missed out on my tirade before the meeting started.
Oh, yeah, she wasn't in here. If she was, she wouldn't be volunteering, right?
Yeah, I didn't hear the tirade either. I was
No.
late. Well, not late, but
Unfortunate poor Alex had to hear it.
But as usual, he's very constructive.
And he's very calm and he
Mhm.
doesn't get mad, so.
Oh, goodness,
he
there
goes-
are real things to
He
get
kick-
mad about.
he kicks his desk after we
Yeah, he
leave.
does.
I have a question about,
Hey,
green-
this is how, you gotta put your ideas out there,
Yeah.
No,
I have a question about, green 14. Place a sign in front of Black Rock to acknowledge
Yeah.
it's historic. Black Rock what? School?
No, Black Rock.
Black
The
Rock.
literal rock.
The
Oh,
rock,
the actual.
the rock.
Yeah.
I have to go
Well,
see that, I guess.
The
Yeah.
problem
You can't
is
miss
we first have to kill all the poison ivy and vegetation that's obscuring the whole thing now.
Um,
there is a Native American group that is interested in. So maybe if we can get them back interested again,
Yeah,
they can do it, because they had contact with you
again,
a while back.
and I'll just explain, part of the problem there is the rock is on private property.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
not on town property, so it's not like we can have, say
So
to
if
the
you
town,
clean it up
can you
a lot.
have your crew go over,
Yeah,
after
clean
you're
up
done
the-
picking up recyclables.
They would never be done.
I know, but no, we can't, it's on a private property, so it's not like we can get a group, like boys, again, Boy Scouts
You
to go,
clean it up and have a sign,
but you'd
but
have to
then
get the
people
owner's
can't actually
approval.
get to the sign because you have to
Yeah.
walk on private property.
No, no,
Well,
No,
no.
it's right up to the
This,
road.
the road is
So-
here and the rock
Yeah.
is here.
Yeah, I've seen a picture of it.
The
It's as
whole
big as a
side
house,
is
right?
covered, yes, as big as a house, covered with poison ivy now. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. We used to go and climb on that all the time. We'd take our bikes up there and climb on it, and it was all clear. Well,
Part that's
Mrs.
gotta be
Bamford-
on
Brian
the
Bamford's
easement
wife,
for
she
the
passed
road though,
away
doesn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
several years
This
ago.
picture
They
shows it
own
right
that
on it, like a
property.
stop
They
sign right
bought the
there.
whole corner and put up a number of houses there. And we'd have to ask her for permission to clean it up if it was ever gonna happen. I'm
And she
just bringing
told-
that up.
She told the natives, the
Yeah.
Native Americans, that she would be willing to do
Would she?
that
Good,
as long as there's a mention of her husband.
sure.
Who
That's-
cares? I don't care.
I
But then I don't
graduated from
know-
high school with
Yeah.
Brian. I knew him well,
he was in my
and I
class.
know her well. Enough, I mean,
The homeowners of
Yeah,
the
he was in my
property.
class, yeah. The owners of Rock.
yep, they own the rock, because they
Yeah.
own that lot that's left.
Yeah.
There's a couple newer
It's
houses
not
there.
buildable because of the
Yeah.
rock.
Yep,
It's not buildable because of the rock.
Right.
So a plaque would just acknowledge her husband as,
Well, and the Native American
yeah.
importance.
It would
of
have it
the
on it and then
rock.
say, you know, in
It's
this
ceremonial. It was a ceremonial.
plaque
rock.
courtesy
Ben-
of,
courtesy of Brian Bamford,
There you
you know.
is that the one where the
Family.
Native Americans got married on top of
Yeah.
that? or
Yes,
something?
it
Yeah,
is, yes.
I read that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah. It's right across from High Point.
Yep, right across from.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
and if you're coming around that corner, be really careful, because you can't see. it.
Again, it doesn't have the same impact anymore because you know how Maples.
So
grow
much grown up
and
around it, yeah.
Everything's so grown up around it.
The
I mean,
natives
if you-
were- the
you
Indians
could
were
miss it.
willing to clean it up.
Yep,
They were willing to clean it up as long as they could do some ceremonies there.
yep,
That would be cool.
you would.
But anyway. Okay. Anything else?
Mhm.
I think we've got quite an impact on this already.
Okay.
It may be-
Erin is gonna be on, what is that, number what?
I don't know where to go.
Oh, yeah, number 13.
Repair the wall. We'll put you down for that.
Okay,
We're putting Maureen down at repair the wall.
Okay.
physically get out to her.
What are you gonna be in?
Pine
Grove.
Wall.
Pine Grove, yeah.
They were supposed to be looking into ARPA funds, but I never heard anything, so I'm gonna have to ask Maria what if they ever. The town responsibility.
Mason asked me again about that.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Whether it ever got,
See
you
that.
know, we're gonna get approval for it.
Yeah.
Add me to number 9, because every time I go look at the open grants, I'm looking for ones that. we
St.
can
Germain's
use
store.
For repairing, yeah, so this has preservation solutions for a number of buildings, St. Germain's is on there, so.
And if the roof is about to fall in.
Yeah.
I will find the grant just in time for it to be useless.
The only thing is the state owns it. The state owns
Yeah,
that.
but if we find money, then why would they complain?
Well,
Because I think they
Because
wanted
they're
to
still,
fall
because they're
apart.
still stuck with it.
if.
I'm still looking for a grant.
A few weeks
me
back,
too.
a few months back, if you remember, some kids fell through a roof and something in Newport.
Yeah, the carriage house.
You want
Yes,
one more?
that building has been rotting for
What?
decades.
I might need your.
And they only
expertise to
finally
write
did
up
something
this
because somebody
greenway
fell
thing.
through
That's
the
Yeah.
Number 8.
DEM.
You would Use your expertise and.
So somebody's gotta
dealing with
volunteer to
government
fall
and
through the
that, 'cause
roof.
That's gonna.
No, we don't want someone to
Big
fall
part.
through the roof.
No, I'm just saying,
You
that
wanna fix it?
Work with me on.
somebody's gotta,
Yeah.
to get
I
their
don't know.
attention.
Which one is that?
Volunteer is.
Number
These-
9, just
You know,
general,
like,
figure out how to
like,
preserve.
bunch of things in. Need to
It's
bring
one
up
of the effort.
the mill stream that comes through and out the building.
Also, the
Problem.
construction needs
Yep.
too.
Yep. That would have to get done.
Yeah.
Well, that's an
you
area
got-
of CLG grant
Well,
right there.
it is, but.
No,
the
they don't
Dutchess
get big
Valley
enough.
River
Yeah,
Authority,
that's what
We're gonna have to enlist
Yeah.
Dutchess
Okay.
Valley River Authority in this. They're in control of that part of the green.
Wow,
It's
Okay.
complicated,
it is,
Um,
okay.
but it's
Sounds
worth
like we need
doing.
a task force there.
It's worth doing to link that and make that work.
Before we leave, Maureen wants to do a reminder of,
Okay.
The dedication ceremony at Manchester Cemetery coming up on Saturday, June 15th at 11 o'clock in the morning. The Sons of American Revolution, local chapter is gonna have a dedication ceremony to the 5 Revolutionary War patriots in that cemetery, and
What's the date?
June 15 at 11 o'clock in the morning. They're gonna have a dedication ceremony. I think they put some type of a commemorative flag
Where,
holder. at
what
the
is it, what cemetery?
Manchester Cemetery, it's,
by Planet Fitness in the back there.
It's the one in back.
Behind Planet Fitness on Main Street or whatever that
Yes.
is?
Oh, there's a little road there, right there. By
There's
Nadia
two.
Roads, that's how you get
There's
in.
two.
I can do a
Sections.
tour of all my Madison relatives
One.
that are buried.
yeah, I know there are quite a few in
They're
Pine
all
Grove.
in
I'll
Pine
go.
Grove, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna go?
Man, I might, if I gotta look, I may have something that day, I don't know.
Saturday, June 15th, 11
I got a
a.m.
lot of stuff coming up on the weekends, I know. But, family,
So it'll, I don't know where they're gonna, where they're gonna start, but there's two sections for
Yeah.
Manchester. One is on the, I guess you'd say the north side of, the bike path.
Oh, the little
Small section.
cemetery?
The small section in the front.
Mhm.
And then you cross over the bike path and go up the grade,
Right,
and
on
then the
the
rest
left.
of the ceremony.
So do you just pull into Planet Fitness parking lot and drive
I
around
think
back?
he was seeking permission from, Planet Fitness to, get permission to park. And then there's kind of like a little
There's a
path in
little
the
walk
woods
right
Yeah,
that
you
you
can
go
walk
right
right
onto the bike path.
to.
Or you can,
cemeteries.
or you can park at the Whipple, there's a small parking lot at the Whipple
Yeah.
Conservation area on the other side of
The
the
trestle.
trestle.
right before you get to the trestle. There's a parking area right there for
Oh.
cars, for people who go for walks, I mean, me and Susan walking there all the time, but,
Oh, good.
And there's the Whipple property.
yeah. It's
Somebody could
lovely.
drive around and go take a look.
Okay, is there anything else?
But if not, you can always come park at my house, and I'll walk down with you.
It's like a long way.
Walk the bike path,
Not just on.
By Rhode Island standards, it is.
okay? Is there anything else anybody wants to
Take a motion to adjourn the meeting.
second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
It is 7:35.